They had what they felt is the prosecutors were insinuating Diddy somehow had something to do with the destruction.
Which is sort of like losing the Cassie video in 2016 at the Intercontinental.
Yes. Yes.
There's two big issues with presenting this kind of testimony to the jury. One, they might think you're trying to draw a connection where you have none. You have one set of fingerprints and you're testifying about another set of fingerprints that you can't actually connect. The other problem is this had only happened around 8 months before that evidence was destroyed, so it plants the seed, according to Diddy's defense team, that Diddy was somehow behind the destruction of evidence, maybe paid off an LAPD official.
This insinuation underscores the pervasive mistrust of powerful figures in legal scenarios. The defense aims to paint Diddy as someone who could manipulate justice, feeding into existing biases about wealth and influence within the judicial system.
And you remember during the jury selection process, a lot of people said that they thought Diddy was a rich and powerful person who could make things go away.
Yeah, and the defense is saying the prosecution is playing into that conspiracy theory that maybe is already out there in the jury pool.
Yeah, but there's no evidence that Diddy paid anybody off or anything.
No,
which is their
make
point.
them sort of prejudice against Diddy, just the mere thought in front of them. It's hard to unring the bell.
This seems like a small.
This captures the essence of courtroom drama. Once prejudicial information is out, it lingers in jurors' minds. The defense's concerns highlight the fragility of fair trials, especially when the prosecution's strategy raises questions of integrity and truth.
Insignificant thing that the defense is saying.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's insignificant.
No, because clearly people think that. I mean, there's a
rule for the prosecution in this is like a nothing thing.
Yeah, well, you're right that the judge just said, "Hey, jurors, don't listen to that testimony." Struck the testimony, but didn't declare a mistrial.
Let's hold on. Get real for a second. What the prosecution is saying or insinuating, according to the defense, is Diddy knew those fingerprints were going to incriminate him via some associate and connect him to the arson and then the burglary.
And by the way, there was also testimony from an LAPD officer that the car, they had a photo and they saw the car that was, or an SUV that was parked in front of the house led back to, it was owned by Bad Boy. So again,
but that's at least hard evidence. But the insinuation is that Diddy destroyed the fingerprint because it incriminated him in the arson and connected him to the burglary.
I have a very important question.
It's an
I have a very important question.
There's reasonable doubt here.
It is an insinuation, but here's my question. Did the LAPD officer offer any explanation why evidence from an investigation that was less than a year old, that was at that point
was
7, 8
destroyed.
months, why was it destroyed? And I'm not insinuating anything, but if I'm on the jury, I want to know why was it destroyed?
Well, let me tell you, they watch CS.
Point, though, Charles. It's a great point, because why was evidence that's so fresh destroyed? This isn't a cold case from 25 years ago where you're clearing out the decks for new evidence coming in. This is a very fresh case.
Why was it destroyed?
Yeah, there was an investigator who mentioned that they were destroyed. He said it was strange that they were. He would have needed to sign off on something like that, and somebody went around him and did this.
So when was it? What year? This is important. What year was it destroyed? And what year was the? And what year? And what year? And what year was the arson?
The arson was January.
Was in January of 2012, and the burglary was December of 2011. So
okay,
about 8 months.
So here's the thing, and people in the jury watch CSI. The statute of limitations had not run.
This is very true.
The statute of limitations had not run. Why would they destroy evidence when it's still a live case?
This pivotal moment raises critical questions about the handling of evidence. The jury must grapple with the implications of destroyed evidence, which could either exonerate Diddy or deepen suspicions against him, showcasing the high stakes involved in celebrity trials.
That can be prosecuted if they get more evidence, especially when it involves a celebrity as big as Diddy. Why would something that critical be destroyed?
Why do I feel like, as you're speaking right now, you're making the defense's case for a mistrial?
I'm saying that it's powerful.
Yeah, it is very powerful. I don't.
So who destroyed it and why?
Well, by the way, the bottom line here is the judge refused to declare a mistrial. There was no mistrial.
This insinuation underscores the pervasive mistrust of powerful figures in legal scenarios. The defense aims to paint Diddy as someone who could manipulate justice, feeding into existing biases about wealth and influence within the judicial system.